Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson. We'll do a little bit of a live today, talking about what's going on, where's United signings, what's going on, all that sort of stuff. But before we do, it's the first time I've been live since the tragic news this morning at the passing of Diogo Jota. So rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family. Very sad, very sad, tragic state of affairs. Certainly not something that you expect to ever be covering, is it? Used to footballers passing when they get older, but just does not happen to current players. So yeah, very sad. And condolences. And you know, it's hard to say this without it sounding like I'm thinking about it from a sporting point of view. But what's the impact of the Liverpool squad? That's not how I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it as like, you know, I've lost teammates. I've had that sort of thing go through it, and it can be quite the thing to get over. It doesn't matter what the impact of it is from a sporting point of view. From Liverpool, I'm talking about from the human point of view. It's something that they're going to have to deal with and something that they're going to have to get over. But yeah, very, very tragic, very sad. So rest in peace, Diogo Jota. And it doesn't feel right now to just be like, anyway, what's going on with transfers? So, you know, get in your comments, whatever you want to talk about, and we'll move it on from that. Yeah, like David says, yeah, recently married with kids. Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking, unfortunate news. No two ways around it. And I won't make a joke about it because it's just not the thing to do, is it? So, yeah. I'm trying to read comments here that aren't just about fucking Mbuemo or something like that. Hopefully we'll get into something along those lines. Notch says, tomorrow can be taken away any time. Life is precious. Yeah, absolutely. Jay says, RIP Jota. Buying is one thing. I think more importantly, why haven't we sold anyone? I think on sales point of view, I actually think the sales is harder than the buy-in. And I wonder if our lack of buy-in is just intrinsically linked to our lack of sales. I think struggling to be able to move players on is probably hampering a lot of our stuff. I could be wrong, but I do believe we've probably identified our targets. First choice, second choice, third choice, all that sort of stuff. And we're probably, I hope, I'm projecting it a little bit, I hope we're just waiting to pull the trigger on those once we've got our finances in play. There was a quote that came out the other day, and I don't know if it was real. It could be because Jim Ratcliffe does love talking to the media. And it was Jim Ratcliffe sort of saying, we're trying to not be the kind of club that folds over 2 million and this, that, and the other. I'm paraphrasing this, but that's kind of what he was saying. And you're like, yeah, ultimately, as fans, we can't whinge that we get rinsed for buying players and then whinge that we're not just throwing money at the problem and that we should just pay whatever the clubs ask us to. So a little bit of patience is required. And it's going to take a little bit of patience to change the narrative around Manchester United being a soft touch when it comes to negotiating transfers, buying and selling. So there's probably going to be some mistakes made. There's probably going to be times when we maybe don't get the signings in we should do because we're trying to be seen to be a club that's a little bit harder on negotiations. I just hope that's not this season because we desperately need a lot to change. Here's the facts of the matter that we find ourselves in. We finished 15th last season. We've signed one player. And we've told another one who started every week to go fuck himself and get out of the club. Do I think Cunha's an upgrade on Garnacho? Yes, I do. In a lot of ways. But that's not a significant enough upgrade to see United go from 15th to 5th, is it? There's going to have to be a hell of a lot more than that happens for United to transform where our season's going to be next season. Ian says, evening, stay, hope you're well. Once we get the benefits lads out, i.e. Sancho, it'll all come together. Stephen Harris says, anyone got the mic cutting out? If it is, it's probably one of the settings on this, but I can't change it while I'm live, unfortunately. There's a couple of people saying, I wonder if is it, let me pull it a little bit closer. How's that? Coming in your ears. Pause. Notch says, remember the players we want to sell also want to hold on to their huge wages. This is true. Very true. Rohill says, Steve, how's it going? Just want to say your IRL video on losing weight inspired me to start. Good shit, mate. Well done. That's the hardest thing to do. Only 2 weeks so far. And why do I think United taking too long for us to sign players? Going back, I think it's the lack of sales. I think they don't want to be stuck with more contracts than they want to fulfill. And on your weight loss journey, well done, mate. 2 weeks, that's cool. And like, if you miss a day, doesn't mean throw it all out. It means pick it up and start again tomorrow. Basics. That's one of those. Hostad says, I love how close it is, juicy but still cutting out. Oh, was it not that? I wonder what it is. I actually can't do anything, unfortunately, from where I am. And I can't, it looks like it's working on my end here, so apologies. Steve says, refresh it if the mic sounds off. Yeah, hit refresh on your browser or close it down and come back. That might fix it for you. Otherwise, we will see. Martin says, I get that we don't want to look desperate, but we are desperate. That's unfortunately the situation we find ourselves in it. We are desperate. Greg says, should we be in for Dumfries for 21 million? Ronnie said something about Dumfries earlier, but I didn't quite catch the full gist of everything that's going on. I think it's something to look at. Not necessarily defos, but I think it's absolutely something to look at. Calvin says, I'm skinny, Steve. How do I gain muscles? You have to eat enough to put some size on, and you have to train enough to stimulate the size growing. I find, and I'm obviously no expert in this, so don't take this as any expert advice, clearly, but I find that squats and deadlifts seem to put sizes on people for the most part. Don't bother doing fucking bicep curls and shit like that. It's a small muscle and it's not really doing a lot. You need your big compound movements, your bench press, your shoulder press, your squats, deadlifts. Anup says, hi from Boston. Rohill says, appreciate the advice. Just going to take it slow and not rush into things. That's all you can do. Matt says, I refreshed the app and it's fine now. There you go. Yeah, all right. If the sound's cutting out for you, refresh it and it sounds like it fixes it, so do that. Orain says, not to be insensitive, but would the club have insurance policies against players in contracts in case of unfortunate situations like this with Jota? I don't know the answer to that. I would assume something in place like this, which is it does sound callous to think about it like that, but you know, obviously from a human point of view, that's a shit situation to be in. It's a shit question to ask. From the business point of view of the club, yeah, you've got assets worth 9 figures at times. It would be negligent from a club's point of view to have that going on and just lose those assets, I guess, wouldn't it? But the same thing, so I mean, look at United lost a 70-80 million pound player in Greenwood because of things that happened off the field. I know we sold him, but ultimately, you lost a significant portion of value on that. I don't know what the situation is with insurance. My gut instinct tells me that you probably can get some level of coverage like that for players, but I don't know enough about it to be able to answer in full. Brian says, how you and my other half opened up on how we were dealing with things. Respect. Mental health, speak up. Well done. Yeah, if you've not seen it, we've got the turkey vlog is meant to be out Friday or Monday if you've not seen it, but me and my wife do a podcast on the IRL channel, and we speak about all sorts of stuff on there, and we've obviously did the £100 weight loss video, and the follow-up to that was how Janine coped with that, because she's obviously an enormous part of my life, an enormous part of the journey that I've been on, and it wasn't plain sailing for her. The title of that video is You Gave Me PTSD, and that's her talking to me, not the other way around. So yeah, it's one of them. Stephen Harris says, they're all insured. The insurance company wouldn't pay out for the lad flying from France to Cardiff. Yes, I remember that actually, yeah. Can't remember his name now off the top of my head. I do know who you mean though. Pedro says, since Grealish is fighting with Guardiola, bring him to Old Trafford. I think that would be a sensational signing. One, it would be very cheap, I would assume. It would be an opportunity for him to resurrect his career, and I think he absolutely suits. Not was it Salah? Was he called Salah? Was that the guy's name? I think it was Emiliano Salah. That's the fella, yeah. I think it'd be a great coup for United to go in for Grealish, but his off-the-field antics worry me more than any of the players that we've got at the club. So, can you keep him on the straight and narrow? Probably not. I would think probably not. As Oscar's won it, says, I'm guessing any insurance for that stuff isn't great given what happened after the lad who crashed on his way to Cardiff. If the plane went down, they tried not to pay, so guessing not good. That's insurance companies in a nutshell. Insurance is can we take your money and not pay out if anything goes west? That's the game. That's what they try and do. That's their whole business model. Their whole business, they're not a business if they're paying out more than they're bringing in. That's not a business. So they have to take in enough premiums that cover out anything that they end up having to pay out for. You got to think of it like that. If Amorim won't let Rashford on the lash, no way he has Grealish. Yeah, that's true. IR says we don't resurrect careers, we ruin them. Yeah, but what about... we haven't really signed anyone whose career needs turning around. We've just signed people that whose careers have tanked since joining here. So maybe we change the tactic and we look for some rescue puppies instead. Can we get a rescue in? Praveen says, any advice on how to keep girls away when looking this tanked? I don't get chicks. So you're asking the wrong guy. Steven says, I can't run, so I've bought a kayak. I'll either get skinny or I'll drown. Fuck that. That's well hard. You do a couple of hours of that, you're going to be in absolute clip / jacked. Peter with a super chat says, one more bad season like this, how does that impact the young talents we have like Euro, etc. in my opinion? Probably not good. They'd probably start looking at who they can move to and where they can go. I'm certain of it. Absolutely certain of it. Yeah, you don't just want to... You obviously want to be successful for the sheer fact of being successful, not just to keep people, but yeah, it's hand in glove. One comes with the other. Brian says, their plans, Greenwood may be coming back. What's your thoughts? I'm worried about what's going on with him. I don't think we're looking at Greenwood coming back. Dean says, Grealish always felt like a United player when he was at Villa. Off the field, we can't be having someone who thinks it's okay to drink, drive, and neglect his career. Yeah, I don't think it's likely, but you know, it would be a coup. It'd be a very interesting one, especially if he could pull it off. I don't think it's going to happen now. United won the most behind City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Most clubs win fuck all. I mean, yeah, that's true. How tall am I? I am 5'10". I look tiny next to you. Joe's like 6'4", 6'5". He's a fucking freak. I don't think our new recruitment looks at things like player social media tendencies, hoping to avoid future Garnachos. They should. They should be, like, think about the level of intelligence that we should be doing. We should be interviewing 5 teammates with very real questions, shouldn't we? Steve says, I genuinely think we're either going to get Champions League football or relegated next season. There's no in between. I don't think we're getting relegated. I don't know if I'd say certain, but I don't think we're going to get relegated. I think that we need to get Mbeumo over the line, whatever the hold-up is with that, which I guess is just negotiations. Tezza says, United are doing what they think is best. If they sign nobody, it's because that's what they want, which to us is bollocks, but we know what needs doing. They must think differently. It's poor. Velvet Thunder says, I agree that ins and outs are so important, but we can't spend because of cunt owners and vile players that nobody wants to own. The initial noises are positives. Patience, guys. 21 is coming. Carp Dig says, the accountancy firm I work for has every footballer for all the Northwest clubs teams, as well as the clubs as clients. The answer is yes, there is insurance. Yeah, I would have thought there is. I imagine getting it to pay out is a different story, but yeah. Ian says, Fergie would have handled Grealish the right way. Steven says, what's more important, replacing Onana or replacement for Florin? Yeah, we haven't got a keeper at the moment. We are playing on Saturday, if anyone's interested. I know we've not announced all of that yet. We have got 3 friendlies booked in for the next 3 Saturdays. Free at Hyde. We are double header in. pause, with Hyde. This Saturday, next Saturday, and the following Saturday. And then our season starts. 26th of July. Cheers, lads. Kinnell. Yeah. So if you're in the area and you fancy coming watching us, we are playing on Saturday. We probably going to get spanked. We're playing a team from about 5 leagues higher than us. But it's all good fun, isn't it? Tuesday we worked on how to play without the ball a little bit, how to shape up without the ball, because I don't think we're going to have much of it on Saturday. But it is what it is. Marcus says, as a Benfica fan, I can guarantee you guys, Amorim will cook next year. 1 game a week will be huge. Steve says, I made a miracle save on a 5-a-side pitch when I was 14, then conceded 7. That's my goalkeeper career. Slim says, skin broke, no money, squad full of trash. Yeah, but look at the positives. What's happening with the new kit? In what sense, mate? All 3 kits have been decided. We're just waiting on delivery of them so we can do the photos of them. And then we're good to go. Dean says, I play in goal. Paul says, did I get the books I sent you? We do get books sent to us. I don't recall. What was the books? Eugene says, I would kill to have Nani back. Nani suffered by being in the same squad as Cristiano Ronaldo. Nani would be our best player at the moment. Release date on the kits. Don't know. We need to sell a lot, says Ryan. David says, Ari, our transfer strategy is starting to feel like a step back in relation to the time taken to get signings. Possibly not main criticism of Glazers, but it's a factor all the same. I think there's more things at play. I think if that Jim Ratcliffe quote is true, and I feel like it probably is, that is a massive factor in terms of the club doesn't want to be seen to get skinned. They have to change that narrative of United being a soft touch. They absolutely have to do that on both incomings and outgoings. So that's going to take a little bit of time to sort. It's frustrating. I'm not going to say I'm happy with this because it's one of them. Paul says, relevant to IRL, Island Books 1 and 2. Yes, I've got those. They're right here. Yep, that one and that one. I think somebody's opened them. If you sent a letter with them, someone's opened them and binned the letter. So thank you very much. But yeah, someone opened them and removed the letter. So I got quite a lot of stuff that's been sent out here, and it's been opened by people and just left on my desk for me. Townsend says, it's all on sales. The previous regime fucked us on contracts. Until we move the players on, we won't be buying. And Buemo is now a worry. I don't know if he is a worry just yet. It's frustrating. As far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone else is in for him. But it's one of them, innit? Solkar says, Nani got the most of his injuries after scoring. He would do 3 or 4 backflips and mess up the landing. Odong says, when I get some time in my busy schedule, please help make a video analysing the midfield that we have. None of them seem to make a combination that compete in the top 6. Yeah, I absolutely worry about that one, to be honest. Dave says, any word on the Ireland friendly? We had to cancel it. We didn't get enough players. I know, frustrating. Do I think United should have made a move for James Trafford? Do I rate him? As I said for months, I think that the goalkeeper situation is less of an issue than the striker situation. I think it probably is an issue that needs resolving, but I think it's less. If I had the choice, Watkins, Osimhen or Gyökeres, probably the reverse of that. I'd go Gyökeres, Osimhen, then Watkins. Was the pick on the window R9? The one at home? Yeah. Can we finish top 6 next season? Not with the current iteration of the squad. Eugene, you are out of town a lot. How do I keep my family life in line? What do you mean? How do I keep my family life in line? What do you mean? I have a wife who's cool and puts up with me doing a lot of travelling. And that's it. My dog's an arsehole, though. What's my take on Mazraoui playing in the 6? I feel like he could do it. Whether or not he could do it full-time to a world-class level, that's up for debate. Well, probably not up for debate. But I think I think he could absolutely do it in an emergency for sure. Hello from Guatemala. Hello. Do I think the Glazers will sell a women's team like Villa have? No, because I don't think the Glazers give a fuck enough to try and game the system in any way. Ineos might, though. What's the bare minimum I would accept for Rashford, Anthony and Højlund? I'd take 100 mil if someone wants to do as a deal for all 4 of them, I reckon. Which is lower than they should be getting, but yeah. One signing wouldn't even save us from relegation. We're not getting relegated. I think we overcooked our bad performances last season by focusing on the Europa League. I absolutely don't think if we'd have not been involved in the Europa League to the latter stages, we'd have ended up finishing 15th. I think we'd have been a lot higher up than that. I think we probably just inside the top half with what we had last season. But we need way more than that to get into the top 6 and then into the top 4. Way more than that. What about Martinez in the 6? No. Steve says, I think you're giving up too quickly on Højlund. I mean, it might be. No, we do not know the definitive answers on this, do we? But I don't see anything in him that makes me think he's going to improve, going to kick on. He has regressed. And people can lose form and people can have bad games, but when it's 30, 40 games of doing the same moronic shit, I can't accept that you're just going to be different the next game. And when he's not different the next game, it almost kind of stacks it up that you're like, well, no, that's that, innit? Paul says, send us your email. I'll send you the letter. Go on my socials. There's a link to Deji's. You'll be able to send it to Deji. David says, Oasis next week soon crept up. That has crept up, hasn't it? It looks like they've absolutely sold their soul to anyone who wanted a licensing agreement for anything. I reckon if you wanted to make fucking anything with Oasis logo or name on it at the moment, you would probably get it. It sounds like they've just do that. Steve says he's been feeding off scraps for 2 years, giving players who create for him and then judge him. It's not true though, is it? You've got Bruno, who literally is the most creative player in the Premier League. So you can't tell me he's feeding off scraps when he's literally got the most creative player in the Premier League. You got Garnacho, who gets a fucking dozen shots per game. Yes, half of those are selfishly being taken when he's got passing options on, and that is an issue. However, if he's able to create for himself, why is Højlund not able to create for himself? Why is Chido Obi able to go and play in the 9 and get more shots off a game? Why is Xerxes able to come and play in the 9 and get more shots off per game? Why was Rashford able to come and play in the 9 and get more shots off per game? At some fucking point, Rasmus Højlund has to look himself in the mirror and say, doesn't get put on a bastard plate for you, you have to move. Now, there's probably also an element of people are looking up and seeing it's Højlund and going, I'm not fucking giving it him. He's going to fuck it up again. Or he's too busy fucking hand fighting with people. There are runs to be made. His runs into the box are low IQ shit runs. He's at fault for a lot of what has happened in his Manchester United career. When the ball is being played forward, our focal point is too busy trying to fucking cuddle centre halves rather than running off his man and getting into space and trying to impact the game. You can't tell me that's not happening because I'm fucking seeing it happen. I'm seeing the movement of other strikers relative to what Rasmus Højlund does and go, this is absolute nonsense what he's doing. Ollie says, which Oasis concert am I going? I'm there Friday. Hopefully won't get covered in piss. You are getting covered in piss. Just take a raincoat. I don't like that about modern concerts. It seems to have been a thing where people just decide that they're throwing cups forward all the time. It's fucking minging. I've always ended up going near the back for that reason, because you can't get anywhere when you're at the front and it's always too hot. I am going to the Dublin one on the Sunday. So if you're in Dublin, I will see it. Steve says he's frustrated. Steve doesn't get the ball in good positions. When he does make runs, he doesn't get the ball. So he's like, what's the point? Cool. But no one ever gave Marcus the excuse of when he makes the runs, he doesn't get it. Marcus runs 10 times more for the ball than Højlund does. He doesn't fucking run for the ball. He's too busy trying to fucking chop suey centre halves. He doesn't run. Nathan says, will there be a place to watch and listen to the upcoming podcast? Sorry if we've covered it. I haven't covered it, actually. There's extra content coming for every single episode on, and behind the scenes stuff that's going on Patreon. There's also some fitness stuff on Patreon as well. And today I started sorting out what's going to be like a challenge thing on Patreon as well. So in Whoop, you can create groups, and I'm going to create a group for Patreon for those who are interested in doing the fitness, as well as posting my training programs on there. There was 1,200 people downloaded my training program last week. I'm not selling them. I won't sell training programs because I'm not a coach. That's not why I did it. People was fucking messaging me all the time asking me, would I share my training program? So I just ended up sharing my training program for those that were interested, and my routine and my rules. So there's a few things that I'm doing which I'm finding dead effective. One, sleeping in a sleep mask. It helps me get to sleep, and it's been helping me wake up at R5 in the morning. Restricting my caffeine to after 90 minutes when I wake up, and stopping it by 6 o'clock of an evening, helping me sleep and wake. Getting sunlight in my eyes first thing, trying to do a fasted walk first thing, like all of that sort of stuff has just kind of evolved. I was talking to someone this morning, maybe. My program at the moment is mad when you look at it. It's intense. Some days I have 4 workouts, but it kind of evolved from literally not really doing enough. So it was kind of like, I'll do a hike once a week, sometimes twice a week. And then it was like, Janine challenged me to do the Stairmaster just 15 minutes every day. So I'd do the Stairmaster, and I started getting into the habit of doing that every day. Then I was like, right, I'd lost a load of weight, start feeling a bit skinny. Let me make sure I'm doing some weights. Okay, we're now doing weights. I should probably do a bit more mobility. Then I did running a K, and then I did running 5K, and it just sort of built and built and built and built. And then you're like, now it's this fucking program, but I've been lucky enough that I've been able to prioritize doing it. So I've been doing it. Like I said, I've just shared the program because I'm like, this is what I'm doing. If anyone's interested, I'm not saying it's for anyone. I'm not saying it's for everyone for sure, but it might not even be for anyone. It might just be for me, but if people are interested in seeing what I'm doing, then the program's out there, my routine, my rules, everything, from my walks in the morning. I do 30 minutes of mobility because I'm old and I creak. It's one of them, innit? But yeah, I'll be putting loads of stuff like that onto Patreon. We've got a group coming for anyone who's, or a link coming for anyone who wants to come and join in, for those, because I know there's quite a few people that are fucking about on Whoop, and you get to see my strain, what I'm doing every single day. You can click on that and see my workouts on there and that. So yeah, if you want to get in a mix, you can do that. Join the link in Patreon, you get a load of extra content, get a load of shit like that going on. And I found accountability and community was massive in sort of my own kind of fitness journey. So if anyone wants to get involved with that sort of shit, then come and get in the mixer. Noah says, shame about Højlund, at least we will always have that goal at Galatasaray. Generally thought we had a player after that. Curious what Amram's telling him that's different from Ten Hag or Benny. Yeah. BM says, Bohemians, the team in Dublin, have released a special edition of their jersey with the Oasis logo as a sponsor on the shirt. It's for charity. It looks sick, to be fair. I saw that. Yeah, it does look good. Notch says, just look at the results of all that build-up, though. Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, I think if anyone looked at my program right now and tried to start it, they'd be like, fucking hell. But I'm like a year deep on it, and I've just added to it. And I have broken down at times, and I've got injured at times, and I've gone too far at times. But the point I'm making is, I didn't jump in at the level of what my program is right now. I built up to it. Lewis says, have I listened to J. Carl's podcast yet? 2 hours in, and some man, proper mentality. Looking forward to the rest of it. Has it been released on YouTube yet? I caught it last night on Sean's Patreon. Yeah, I'm just having a look. It's not live on the YouTube page. Yeah, so I'll probably do a social post today if I can get the photos off Kelvin. Because I've got loads of unblurred photos of me, Jay, and DJ in London a few weeks ago. The reason I was down in London was we was helping Jay prepare for this podcast that he's just done with Sean Ryan. And it was an honour to be asked, and it was a privilege to be asked, and we covered a lot of what he has covered in this podcast throughout that week. There was one that I didn't know. Well, there's a few bits that I didn't know, actually. The way he was talking about, having a fucking gun in his mouth at one point. We never explicitly kind of spoke about that. And apart from the fact I knew he had. And the North Africa safe house that got overrun. It's like something out of a fucking film. Genuinely. Like something out of a fucking film. Yeah. So it's a 6.5 hour long podcast. It's insane. It probably should have been 5 podcasts. And I know someone said, what about having Jay on my podcast, this one that we're about to do? Yes, probably sort that out in about 6 weeks or so. And see how his life has changed since doing this one. Mark says, I'm 12 months into my weight loss, started at 178 kg, now at 124. Fucking hell. That's impressive, mate. Well played. Aim is to get below 100. Really worried about muscle loss or trying to focus on strength training. Yeah, I thought I looked skinny. So I started doing weights 3 times a week, and yeah, I feel like I'm in a pretty decent fucking spot of it, to be honest, at the moment. Steven says, 6 packs, weight loss aside, I think the change in personality has been noticeable. Seem calmer, happier, and more content post Red Bull, and I think that's mint. Not the only person who said that. Obviously, I can't speak for what I was like beforehand, because it was what everyone else notices, I guess, isn't it? But yeah, I feel more content because I think I'm more aligned with my identity. I didn't identify as being, an out of shape fucking invalid. So managing to temporarily fix my calf issues and get back to being me, and identifying as someone that is in good shape and can fucking put it out is probably a little bit easier on the mind, I guess. Paul says, letter sent. Cool. I'll tell Deji to go and look at it. Where did I find my workout? Where to find your workout? If you comment plan, if you go onto @Howson podcast on Instagram, and there's only 2 photos on that channel so far. Just comment plan, you'll see one of them's got like 1,600 fucking comments on it. Comment plan on there, and then I have ManyChat, which is like an automated sort of thing. It'll message you a link to the plan. Tamers Gen says, United, Sancho, go Juve. Douglas Luiz United is better for next season. That'd work, wouldn't it? If we can make that happen. And Solskjaer has won it. Says, when you move to the sticks, get your 2 trained attack dogs and a cabinet full of rifles and a shotgun. Am I do the same amount of content or planning to become a happy hermit? I'll probably be making content for life now, I think. I probably will be making content for life. It'll probably evolve. I don't anticipate doing 2 times a day United news forever. I can imagine that will change, evolve as I get older. I do anticipate doing the podcast forever, which is kind of why I was like, why am I not doing this? You know, I want to speak to people. I want to get fascinating stories. I also anticipate that I will evolve and get better. I shot episode 1 today and I wasn't entirely happy with it. You can see why. Like, again, we'll be posting out the debrief, the hot wash with myself and Amy, if you want to go and check that out on Patreon, where we kind of go like, here's what we did and here's what we think went right and wrong. If you're interested in that sort of stuff. Like, we literally do our real, we just sit back down where we did the podcast and we roll the cameras and we have our real conversation in there. Anything to say on the Saudi league after Al Hilal beat City, or you still think it's a farmers league? What? Non-league teams beat professional teams in the FA Cup. Yeah, of course it's still a fucking farmers league. Like, this tournament means a hell of a lot to them. It doesn't mean a lot to Manchester City. Josh says, I'm 24 now. My heaviest I was 9 stone. Wow. And dropped to 6 stone. Now up to 7 stone. Was 92 pounds in February, up to 102 pounds. Feeling better. I've been well done. Hang on. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. That's really annoying. Mate, well done. It's people's own fitness journeys. It can be, you know, a lot of people struggle with keeping weight off, but, you know, people can struggle with keeping weight on as well. You know, it's whatever card you've been dealt with in it, but well done. At the end of the day, if you're happy with where you are, and I don't know if everyone's ever going to be actually like fucking completely happy with where you are, but as long as you're happy with the direction that you're moving in, it doesn't matter how fucking slowly you get there, just as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other. Am I in the best shape of my life? And what age was I in the best shape of my life? I think probably 2021. Not when I first joined the army, because you're a fucking skinny, undernourished runt. Probably 19 years ago, probably 2005 or 2006, probably 2006, I would say. Yeah, I would probably say about then. Not now. Andrew says, Farmers League team that are desperate for any and all attention against a struggling City team forced to play in a glorified pre-season tournament, playing in temperatures hotter than the sun. Yeah, there's that. It's a good way of putting it. We need to sign an Irish player. United have never had a successful team without an Irish player. I mean, that's just science. James says, look forward to the future when you're calling people widgets for clipping up an opinion you gave 30 years prior out of context. Me too. Steve says, you do a series on survival state, like lighting fires, building fresh water, etc. We're all woefully underprepared for the zombie apocalypse. I was looking at doing, let me just get, it's the land-based survival instructor course. It was too much fucking time. Which would have been, I needed to have 20 survival days to be able to go and do it. And it had to be like a full 24-hour day as well. And the criteria for it was fucking gnarly. And I didn't have the criteria for it. And I was like, I don't know when the fuck I'm actually going to be able to log and do all of these things. And they had to be across 5 different environments. So one had to be in the snow, one had to be like above certain height in the mountains, one had to be a beach. And I was like, I actually don't think I've ever done any fucking survival things on a beach. So I'd have to actually go out there and put myself out there to do that one. One was woods. Maybe the other one was jungle or something like that. It was proper fucking... I wanted to do it, but it was like 7 months of training, and yeah, it was hardcore. But it was everything. It was like navigation, which I'm pretty good at. First aid, which is it's basics, is what it is. And then it was loads of different outdoor skills and survival techniques and things like that. It was good, and I did want to do it. I think it was like... I think in total you had to do like a month in the field, not in one sitting, but like across the entire course, you had to do like a month in the field. I just do not have any time to get this thing done. Stephen Harris says, if I paid $1 billion to put a tournament on, I can promise you I'll be picking the winner as well. And Solskjaer's won it, saying, a show where Steve sets out his rules for surviving the zombie apocalypse would be mint, Zombieland style. We kind of did a little bit like that. Liam says, just shows YouTubers and reporters don't actually know anything about transfers, just like the rest of us. Well, no one's pretending to. I'm hoping we keep Rasmus and he can live rent-free in Steve's massive head. One, my head ain't that big anymore. I'm literally a hat size down, so suck that. And two, why would you hope to keep someone that's blatantly not good enough for us? Coach Zach says, while out in the US this summer, we'll be near Ohio. Love to take you out on the range and invite you to one of our training sessions. Oh, let me just have a look. I think not. I think Ohio's Midwest, right? No, I don't think we're anywhere near Ohio. Just having a quick look. I mean, we're not a million miles from Ohio. We are in Chicago, which is, I know it's the next state along, innit? But it's a bit of a mission. Depends whereabouts in Ohio you are, I guess. Glenn says, hi, bud. Sad news about Jota. I know he played for a rival club, but I hope we can show the same class they showed when Ronaldo had his loss. I know the club have tweeted. I haven't opened it yet. I just saw the alert on my phone before I came live. Andrew says, the entire paddock ownership washes up on a beach. Who's the first one to pop his clogs? Joe. It's Joe. Because he'll fucking try and eat something raw and die. He's not Jake. He's not going to move. And Macca will be too stoned to realise what's happened. Any plans to bring back Heads Gone next season? No. No plans. Ryan says, I think we walk away from Mbeumo. Seems like Bruno won't be playing centre mid and costing us more games then. All right, well. Calvin says, it's not a coincidence these scouts reports goes to big clubs before the rumours come. Just filter out the noise and you'll see we sign most of them scout reports on the back. I don't. I think I'm being thick or you're being thick and I can't work out who it is. Astaire says, could you help me understand if we were to sign Jonathan David on a free, would that affect PSR? His wages would, but it would be a free transfer. I mean, maybe his signing on fee might, but not too much. Coach Zach says, right on the border of Indiana. All right, yeah, but how far away is that? I fucking America is unfathomably big. Off the top of my head, I don't know how long we're in Chicago for. It is the middle. So, I mean, Alabama from the 21st of July, and that's the Monday. The Thursday, I go to New York, and then several days we go to Chicago for a few days, and then it's to Atlanta. That's all I know. I haven't got the exact itineraries going on. Dean says, started my lifestyle change in October at 343. Damn. Now at 280. It's been a ride and a half, but £60 to lose at least. Well, you've already lost 60, so you can fucking keep doing it. Simple as that. Just keep it. Everything is slow and steady. I was chatting to my mate about this the other day, and I said, like, 100 calories a day over the course of a month is going to put on a pound, right? But if you did that every day for a year, you're going to be a stone heavier. Now, you do that for 5 years, you put 5 stone on, and 5 stone's a lot, but 100 calories a day ain't shit. So, you can put things on faster and slower than that, but like, it's that much of a small, consistent overeating. 100 calories a day is a fucking half a Twix, right? Or it's not even like a round of toast. So, you do that every day for a year, just that little bit, and that, you can fix that by even just a bit of walking or something. One of them, innit? Will my diet go out the window in the UK? Sorry, in the US. No, probably not, to be honest. I haven't got anything more to add than that. Coach Zach says, I get to Chicago in about 3 hours. Let me have a look at it, and then let me have a look at it. I don't know what the itinerary... legitimately, I asked Jay for the itinerary last week, but I haven't actually fucking done anything with that information. Andrew says, used to work in Chicago. It was an old department store, got shut down because it was a bit naughty. Okay. Resh says, hi Stephen, right now I'm in Cuba and the hotel employee love your eyes. Well, shit, if they want to bring me out to Cuba, they can fucking stare into them if they fancy it. I'd love to go to Cuba. Seems like a right gaff. USA burger versus an English burger, which is better? I think Five Guys burgers, which I don't think I've had in the States, are the best burgers that you can get, like, in a chain. In-N-Out is pretty fucking spectacularly good, though. And it makes no sense why they're good. They're just pretty straightforward. Am I going to any of the Oasis gigs next week? Doing the first one at Eaton Park, going to be messy. Just the Dublin one. Me and Janine are going to the Dublin one. Scott Gacko says, I lost 3 stone in 3 months just cutting out carbs and fizzy drinks and walking more. It's crazy, isn't it, how simple it is? Crazy. Akash says, I agree, Five Guys burgers are mint. James says, cigars and rum, Cuba is right up your alley. Know what I mean? Dope burger is ridiculous. I don't think I've heard of dope burger, actually. Am I doing 0 carbs in and out? No. I have the fucking burger and the fries. Which youngster has the highest, lowest chance of getting minutes next season? Toby, Amas, Heaven, or Cheeto? On account of having 3 centre-halves, Heaven's probably going to get some time. I think Amas might struggle. Cheeto will depend on if we sign someone on injuries. Toby, don't know. Steve says, bread's another one to get rid of. It's the thing I miss the most, though. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of bread. Generally, I mean, I had a Subway today, but generally, I don't eat much bread. I have a lot of rice. I eat a lot of chicken and rice. A lot of chicken and rice. Steve says, hypothetically, I've been given director of football, and we were your scouts, and we had the last 10 years. Could we have done better with United with the last 1.5 bill? Yeah. Mark says, lettuce instead of a bun. No. Listen, when I go Five Guys, we're not having a tomato and we're not having lettuce. What are we doing, right? Am I having a salad? No, I'm having a fucking burger. So what are we having? We're having meat, we're having cheese, we're having onions, we're having sauce, and that is it. Stop fucking about, right? Stop pretending, oh, let's get a bit of fucking salad on there and a fucking tomato. No, fuck you. We're having fattening stuff. Have a salad. Don't have a bit of fucking lettuce on your salad. Don't pretend it tastes nice. It doesn't. No one's ever gone, oh, this burger's mint. Why? The lettuce. Shut up. No one's ever said that. Pickles, man. No, yeah, you and your pickles can fuck off. I'm not having that. 64 Ahmed says, Hesman is a full-time first teamer. What a player. Genuinely, if we signed a 40 mil centre-back and Heaven turned out, I'll be happy with him. Paul says, our mentality is a piss take. N35 says, onions count as a salad. Random one, what product do I use in my hair? Either VO5's Barber Range or not VO5. L'Oreal's Barber Range or VO5 texture gum. Ed says, cutting gluten and fizzy drinks changed my life even more than exercise. Our skin and energy levels so much higher than it was a few years back. The energy levels is real. Ironically, energy drinks fucking zap all your energy. So I feel like going to the gym and I can get up at 5 a.m. because I'm not having energy drinks, because that sugar crash and caffeine fucking overload was just messing with me, man. Not just if you can't pick up a full burger, bun, it's not a burger. Some of the stuff Eateries serve is dumb. Do you know where it used to be sensational? Salita in Manchester, and it shut down. And they used to do a burger, which I think was like 2 lots of buttermilk chicken, and then it was like a load of pulled pork on it as well. But you couldn't fucking like get it in your face. It was too much. You had to separate it and eat one of the chickens, because there was like a big fucking cutlet of like fried chicken and the pulled pork, and then just have the single chicken on a bun afterwards. And it was like, they're probably one of the best fucking burgers I've ever had, but they were fucking absolute pain in the arse to eat. Chris says, even though we're doing the right thing, trying not to be reckless, I still dream of Osimhen. The fans would love him. Yeah, I get that. Sean says, yeah, I remember Salita. It was a good, wasn't it? I don't know why that shut down. It looked like it was Ramo all the time, so I don't know why they didn't manage to keep going. Andrew says, nothing worse than getting a burger after eating installments. Do I prefer a thick burger or a smash burger with onions and a patty? I'm a smash burger all the way. Not overly asked, to be honest. Not overly precious about either. I was out with Rio on Monday, and Owen Hargreaves that was as well. I was telling Janine this. It's mad because we've worked with him for so long, quite relaxed around each other, especially when we go out eating a fair bit when we're working together. We went out in London on Monday night. We got to some place at like fucking midnight, and like he eats off my fucking plate, we was eating whatever we ordered came. It was loads of shit all over the table, and he's like, "Have you tried this?" And he just fucking sticks it in your mouth, and it was some steak. It was absolutely sensationally cooked, and I had some chicken. I was like, "Oh, this chicken's really good," and he just fucking takes it off your plate. And Baggers was with us. We had Baggers down with us on Monday out, and he's sitting there and he's going, "This is fucking nuts watching this." And you're like, I guess it is quite fucking nuts, isn't it? But I am kind of used to it. But it is a bit mad, isn't it? Good fun. Steve says, I air fry everything, little or no oil. I'm fucking in love with my air fryer. It's sensational. Andrew says, when we're out eating with Rio and Hargreaves, who picks up the bill. So it was Rio's leaving due on Monday because he's moving. So we had a bit of a party, and I think he picked up the bill for the entire thing, for the drinks that we had in the bar, and then afterwards, yeah. Owen Hargreaves, the difference in the guy that comes out on the night out and a guy that you see on telly is unbelievable. And Solskjaer has one. It said, "Did I go full Joey Don't Share Food?" No, but it is quite fun or funny. Mad that, isn't it? It's fucking nuts, isn't it? But it's very normal. It's very normal. Callum says, seagulls swooped in and stole my burger the other day. Fucking seagulls. Some seagulls are fucking massive. Have I ever gone up to the bar and said, put it on Rio's tab? No. There's been some times when a fucking bill has come from some of the nightclubs I was in Qatar, and I've been like, listen, lads, the way my bank account works is no. Ed says, Owen Hargreaves looks like the lad who's had, once he's had a couple, he's on it. Honestly, Owen is fucking great fun. And his punditry is not, like, he is a different guy on punditry. Like, you do not expect how much of a good laugh he is on a night out. Dan says, Salita was sold to Shoot the Bull, which is a Yorkshire-based food group. Bastards. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because, well, we're finishing at 5, so I'm going to get the fuck out of here. But cheers, everyone, for tuning in, as always. Hopefully United can fix it up. Rest in peace to Diogo Jota, and condolences to all of his family. If you want to get involved in what we're doing on Whoop with the fitness, there'll be some challenges and stuff in there. Or if you want to come and check out my program, check it all out in the link in the description for Patreon. And there'll be some content. I might even share some pics today from podcast number 1, which we've just done, which was today. Hopefully trying to get 6 in the can, probably be 5 now. before I go to America on the 21st. And on the 21st, we launch that channel. So stay tuned for all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, nice one, everybody. Hope you all have a good Thursday, whatever you're doing, if you're going out, if you're doing any bits. Otherwise, back tomorrow. I think we've got a video scheduled up coming out in the morning. And obviously we'll have the brew later tomorrow night. It's in a bizzle. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.